So this is the mall. Just this cool, trippy shirts. And this is Lowe's. Lowe's is basically a clothing store here, where like in the US, Canada, Lowe's is a hardware store. Here's Smiggy. Cute little store. And there's Mrs. Fields, that old iconic cookbook of cookies and desserts from that American lady, Debbie Fields. It's Jackie. I don't remember really been in that store before. Oh, nice suit store. I know this has no link to Natalie Portman whatsoever. It's not that I'm aware of. And Honey Burdette, that's basically the equivalent of Victoria's Secret or La Senza here in Oz. This is like the equivalent of Claire's, La Visa, as you can see. Okay. Here we go now. Now we're out of the mall. I'm taking a bit of a different journey than before. There's a bus station. This bank is 24/7 banking. Alright, we'll now cross the street. And the green light. Green man. Unlike the white man you see for the green light in Canada, it's a green man here. It's like they're a leprechaun or a gremlin or something, or possibly both at once. Master Tom's again. Australian Retirement Trust. Reduce speed. See, all these, they all have helmets. Just the law. They all have helmets with e-scooters, which is good. I wish they had that in Canada, but they don't. It's heaps crazy, but that's just life. And here we go again. There's a timer. See the nice lights. It's heaps beautiful. Mates and blokes and Sheilas. And the nice lights there. Sign for Gold Coast. Go Maroons on the bus, the Queensland Maroons, rugby team here in the state of Queensland, the Sunshine State. Grosvenor. Cold beer, hot girls. Yeah, I love the outspokenness of the Aussies. There's no holding back here. A lot more blunt than Americans, and 1,000 times more blunt than Canadians. Being the tight-lipped culture in Canada, it's not tight-lipped here. It's the George Williams Hotel, which I've never been to, obviously. This is a random church that I literally got well to. They were making some burgers and smash burgers, and they welcome me, and I just ate a smash burger. I didn't realize it was a church till later, but they wanted me to come back. No, I didn't come back. I had really bad. I felt a really weird vibe, and when I came back to get prayed for, and I walked away. You really have to listen to those vibes. Because if you don't, it always backfires when you listen to the vibes that you feel. It's a fire rescue truck. 7-Eleven. Yeah, it was that random, not quite church-looking kind of church where I was really breaking down and just crying so hard about stuff that I was dealing with. Typically, I just break down and cry in a bench in Queen Street in downtown Brisbane. It's my crying safe zone. It's a beautiful place to cry. I feel beautiful crying there, for that matter. So, cars you don't even see in Canada, for example, like on that billboard. In Australia here, domestic cars are Asian cars. So it's a lot cheaper to get a Honda, a Nissan, a Toyota, a Mazda, Mitsubishi, in comparison to what the huge difference, the huge big difference that you'd pay to get a Dodge, Chrysler, GM. You're paying a lot more. So why? But at the same time, the American ideology for vehicles is quantity over quality, whereas the Asian and European model is quality over quantity. So produce less cars, but make them of a better quality and make them last longer. Oh, cool. Kangaroo bus lines. Dentist, and there's the Swedish flag. You see, maybe that's where all the Swedish princesses get their teeth cleaned, all nice and white. Who knows, mate? This used to be a store, but it closed down. I was having a closing sale. They had these super heaps pretty dresses. Yeah, no, if I had a woman in my life, I would definitely get her dresses from that store, but for the time being, it's not the right time. Pokies, that's like a poker term, and it's not what people might think we like here in Canada. It's not something naughty. It's regarding the game poker. I don't like that game. I'm not really into gambling, but that's what that's referring to. It's beautiful. There's a sushi bar. It's a Vietnamese restaurant. Yeah, no. It's a very beautiful place. Oh my goodness. Never lived in a happier place. A more beautiful place. A more loving place. A truly egalitarian place. I swear, honestly, it's like the Celestial Kingdom. Minus a few things that you wouldn't find there, you know? It's just indescribably beautiful and happy and wonderful. the Australian flag. This is a bus terminal. Hence we drive on the left side of the road here in Oz. It's not the right side of the road like Canada and the US. Here we walk past something pretty substantial. Not that this, I mean, it's a pretty low crime nation, but this is the Queensland Police Headquarters. That's what it is. It's on Roma Street. It's a beautiful day. My SBFF thinks I should be a tour guide, and then I'm like a tour guide doing this, so who knows? Maybe someday it'll have to be a side job for me as being a tour guide after making these videos. Roma Street Magistrates Court. I wonder if that's like a court building where they have court cases and rulings and all that. I'll never really know. It's a beautiful artwork. And here in Australia, as you can see, there's really not a big littering problem. Typically littering you see is like that you even find on the ground is like cigarette butts or like cans or bottles, and that's typically about it. Unlike in Canada or the US where you see a bunch of trash of all kinds, it's culturally unacceptable to litter here. People will flip out at you if you litter, or not that I do, but I know that's the culture here. They will yell at you for littering on the street or the sidewalk, and people get fined for that too, thankfully. But this is the City Community Health Center. I don't know how to pronounce that, Biala or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly at all, but either way, yeah. It's interesting. Just the beautiful vegetation is unlike anything I've ever seen in my life. Well, beyond what you see in Canada, and here in Australia, pedestrians don't have the right of way. So you have to find, when you're at a crosswalk that's not marked with a light that makes them stop, you have to find a time when people aren't driving, because they will not stop for you. They're not legally required to either. So as soon as people are not driving in that certain area, you run and you cross. Otherwise, you don't really know when they'll get to cross next. So you have to play it wise. This is E. McCormick Place. Look at that beautiful flower. It's beautiful, whatever flowers or whatnot on that tree, those trees. It seems beautiful. Flowers. More flowers. I figure this. When I came here, it was winter. It was like summer weather, and it's spring. And December 1st is the first day of summer. So my winter went from Canada being a summer birthday to a winter birthday, because June 1st is the first day of winter in Australia here. And March 1st is the first day of fall. Backpackers, that's where I used to live when I moved here in Brizzy on August 28th. That was my first home sweet home. I was there for a week and it was good. You know, eventually I had to find my permanent home sweet home. But it was good for the time being. You can't live in the youth hostel forever. You just can't. Imagine spending an eternity with your eternal companion in a youth hostel. How unstable would you be? It's crazy. There it is. Fortnight basically means every two weeks. That's a term they use a lot in Australia. Even for rent payments, you can do fortnight or get paid fortnight. Rubbish from recycling. That's what I often feel like all at the same time in the love department. But that's just my life. Some more e-scooters with helmets, of course, as mandated by law. Summer Hills Backpackers, where was my second youth hostel I went to. Had some good times there as well. It's a very interesting place to live. First youth hostel I went to where I actually had a group of people. There was a foxy, sexy beast Englishwoman there. So that was interesting. With a bunch of guys, and then a Sheila from England. And then the City Backpackers, where I was at third and final youth hostel, and now we're going another direction. But at that youth hostel, there was a girl from the state of Tasmania, and yeah, she was in our bunk with a bunch of us guys, and it was interesting because there's a guy below me, and then there's my bunk, I was in the top bunk, and a guy below me on the bunk next to mine. And to keep it G-rated, basically a hurricane always happened on their bunk, and definitely wasn't used to that. You know, growing up in a very being raised differently, growing up in a very different background, it was definitely a shock. You know, wasn't even used to hearing the sounds. You know, it was definitely something different, but so be it. I just didn't say anything. I didn't want to make it awkward for them. It's their choice. It's not mine. But I will say I think it was pretty funny, despite the fact that it was definitely something I would not be doing outside of marriage. But anyway, yeah, it was crazy. And now I'm just waiting for the light to change. Well, it's changed for them, just not for me. Anyway, there's just the beautiful architecture and everything around. There's all these kinds of different cameras that you'll see. So if you're texting using your phone during when you're driving, you get huge $1,000 worth of a ticket, and you get they call it the different points, but they fill it into demerit points. So it's a big deal to be using your phone when you're driving. Or even if someone's sitting next to pull out their phone, you get a ticket for that because the camera will catch it. Even going a little past the speed limit, you get big fines. But hence the surveillance with speeding and cell phones here. Car crashes just don't often happen here in Australia. It's a lot safer. So people may complain, oh, I don't have any civil liberties, I'm being spied on by the nanny state or the big government. But in the end, you know, some people might think it's over policing, but it sure has kept people a lot safer. A lot less lives have been harmed because of this large amount of big government surveillance to keep people from using their phones while they're driving, and to disincentivize people from speeding or going even a little bit past the speed limit. Obviously not all Aussies support this, but I definitely support this heavy-handed government approach. I think it's great. I wish they would do that in Canada and the US, but Unfortunately, I don't think that will ever get to happen. There's the Aussie flag again. Oh, the beautiful, beautiful Aussie flag. Oh, cool. It's called Skew Street. I didn't realize that before. So, here I go. Beautiful vegetation once again. Oh, look, another e-scooter. Crikey. There's the elevator. I chose to take the stairs to exercise my body, so I'll take the stairs. It looks like your views up the elevator. Unless you're dancing like a maniac so hard that you're covered with heaps of buckets of sweat. Little places you can sit. See a little kind of like the art, public art people. It's really nice here. Some barracks. The cinema where I saw the Bird movie already 3 times since the first time I saw it in Phoenix. See nice public seats. That's meant for like sleep apnea. Some nice stuff. This is what they call the bottle shop. Like a liquor store, it's called a bottle shop in Australia. So if you're a bottle shop, that's what they're talking about. Here we are. There's a nail salon. I don't know whatever happened to Kendrick's. I don't know why it closed down. You have to figure that one. I better look that up sometime and figure it out. And this is Kohl's. It's like it's basically the equivalent of Safeway in Oz. It's you either go to Kohl's or you go to Woolworths or Aldi. And there's Hatch. My dear Hatch distant cousins. Hatchback. Or in honor of the Hatches. Anyway, just thought I'd show the love to the Hatches. Oh. Okay. Well, yes. This is fun. Nice vegetation, of course, as per usual in Australia. Hatch. And that's the way the cookie crumbles, mate.